YTBC, what's the deal? So I was going to give my thoughts on the heavyweight fights I saw yesterday on PBC. Breazeale, let's start off with the first fight. Breazeale versus Fred Kassi. I actually picked Kassi going into this fight, kind of a upset special type of thing. Kassi, man, he just does enough to make his fights very debatable. Even the fight that he got knocked out in when he fought Amir Mansour, that was a close fight up until the knockout. Just with his style, he's awkward. He goes lefty to righty. He just makes it awkward for you. You know, he'll slip and slide and get out of the way of punches. Then he'll come back and counter. The Chris Arreola fight, I thought he won that fight 6-4. Clearly, I thought he clearly won that fight 6-4 at least. And they had the fight a draw. Arreola, after the fight, said, man, I lost this fight. You know, even he was giving it up to Fred Kassi. Now, going to last night's fight with Breazeale, I knew he was going to do. I knew he was going to make it awkward. I knew he was going to make it, he was going to test Breazeale in different areas. But he didn't test Breazeale's chin. He didn't go all out like I thought he should have. And when I say go all out, I mean like in rounds 8, 9, and 10, I thought he should have picked up the pace, and I thought he should have pressed Breazeale back. But, you know, it's easier said than done when you got a guy that's 6'7", 260 pounds in front of you, and you're, 5 inches shorter, 6 inches shorter, 30, 40 pounds lighter. But it was a good scrap. But I had to fight a draw. I had it 5-5. And if you want to possibly say 5-4-1 Kassi, probably. But I had it 5-5. One judge had it 10-0 Breazeale. And that's, that's just treacherous, man. That's ridiculous. If we're not going to get good judges on these fights, man, they might as well just fight like the old days. Fight till somebody gets knocked out. Because 10 rounds to 0 is bullshit. And I understand that we say sometimes, well, when the judges are sitting there live, the fight may look different than it does on TV, their angle. Okay, but that judge is telling me that there's not one round he could have gave to Kassi. And I haven't talked to the judge. Maybe this judge thinks like, they were all close, but I edged all of them to Breazeale. That even sounds ridiculous, me even saying it. Ridiculous fight as far as the scoring goes. But Breazeale, he looked like a 6'7", 260 pound guy. He looks awkward, looks a little clumsy sometimes, but he's just a big guy, man. And like I always tell you guys, it's different when you're a big guy. You're not going to look like a welterweight. Me being a big guy myself, 6'5", 235, it's hard to look like a welterweight in there. So you're going to look, he's going to look like a big guy, but he showed good jab. He threw good, nice straight punches. He looks better than his last fight I seen him in, but he needs to learn how to use his jab a little bit more and set up his shots a little bit more, go to the body a little bit more, work on his stamina. I think he can, shed a few pounds. He didn't look winded in this fight like he did in his last fight. He didn't look extremely winded, but he looked decent last night. But I thought that was a draw, man. And hopefully his team, they go back and they work on some things because he's not a complete fighter yet. So I hope they really look at the film in this fight and know that this was not a 10-0, unanimous decision type of fight. If anything, this was a fucking draw. So hopefully, Breazeale works on his craft a little bit more, man, and keeps working. He's a late starter, although Olympian, but he's one of those football guys that came in boxing. But Fred Kassi fought a Fred Kassi fight, So let's go to the main event, Deontay Wilder. Well, I had Deontay Wilder winning by knockout around about 7, round 7, round 8, somewhere in there, the middle of the fight, late. But he got the stoppage, 11th round. Duhaupas, he had the right game plan as far as using the tight, high guard, similar to Stavern. But he didn't come out that guard with anything. And I knew, like I told you in my prediction video, that he doesn't have power behind his shots. And like he was doing in his previous fights that I seen him in, Duhaupas, like the Erkin Tepper fight, and some other fights I seen him in, he was doubling up and tripling up his jab right in the first round. He was doubling and tripling up that jab. He was doing it consistently in all his prior fights. Then in this fight, he just kept a high guard. I don't know if he was afraid to get caught in the middle of throwing a jab, but he was on his, you know, you hit me, get off, and then I'm going to try to get off. He wasn't even doing that. It was just high guard, hit me, get off, and as soon as Deontay Wilder got off, he got out. You know, Deontay Wilder figured out pretty quickly that I'm not going to be able to knock this dude out quickly. And that's a gift for a curse, man. It's a gift and a curse because a lot of fans are going to say, oh, what happened to the power? I thought you were knocking guys out in the first or second round. You're a fraud. And me, I don't have that mindset. Y'all know I do not believe in the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? Although, you know, I was a big Tyson and Foreman fan and, you know, just fan of knockout punchers, shavers, Tua. But again, man, like I tell y'all, you're not going to be able to knock everybody out. And once you realize that, what are you going to be able to do in the ring as far as making adjustments? So I am impressed with Deontay Wilder's adjustments. Now, they may not look like a welterweight. It may look a little clumsy when he's in there. He may, you know, when he pulls back straight and fight with his hands down a little bit. These are big guys, y'all. So y'all just got to get used to that. For some of you that aren't used to that, these are just big guys, man. Nobody's going to look like I keep telling you, like a junior middleweight. It's just not going to happen. But he showed a good jab in there. He has a long ass jab, man. Deontay Wilder was able to fight off his back foot. He was able to use a jab. He was landing right hands at will. He started to mix in that uppercut that was really surprising Duhaupas. He worked inside a little bit. I like his work inside. Deontay Wilder fought a good fight, you know. But again, once he gets in there with somebody that can bang a little bit harder than Duhaupas, somebody that can you know, make his legs start to do a little dance when they hit Deontay Wilder back, we're really going to see an exciting fight because Deontay Wilder doesn't seem like the type that's going to get hit and is going to run. I don't think he's the type that's going to hold either. I think once he gets cracked or once he gets hurt really bad in the fight, I think he's the type that's going to fight his way out of trouble. Just from his mindset and demeanor, that's what I think of Deontay Wilder. You know, if you've seen one round, you've seen them all. Really, Duhaupas just didn't come out of his shell. He didn't return fire. And when he did, he caused Deontay Wilder damage. When he did start throwing jabs and throwing shots, Deontay Wilder's left eye started to swell. And it looked like it was shut towards the end of the fight. And had Duhaupas really start just winging right hands, just wing them for the sake of winging them, he probably could have fucked around and won the lottery and landed one. I mean, his left eye was closed. You know, I don't get it. If you see a guy's left eye closed, why aren't you throwing right hands? Just throw them. Just throw them motherfuckers. And he just wouldn't throw. You know, Deontay Wilder's punches was just bouncing off the front of this dude's face, his head. The dude could take a shot. You know, so I hope, I haven't read anything yet, but I hope Deontay Wilder's hand isn't hurt because he was landing a lot of shots on top of his head. I was hoping that he didn't break his damn hand, man. But like I said, a first, second round knockout would have been very impressive, but this was very impressive to me too because he was going for the kill. Although it went 11 rounds, Deontay Wilder was in there still going for the kill. And they stopped the fight. I thought the ref was asking Duhaupas, was he all right? A few rounds too early. I was like, man, he is taking shots, but he's not wobbling around or anything. He's just sitting there with the high guard, not taking, you know. But again, maybe the ref was making sure the dude's hands wasn't hurt. The dude wouldn't throw punches. You know, when he did, he, you know, like I said, he swelled Deontay Wilder's eye up. What do I want to see next? Well, I don't want to see no more stay busy fights. Povetkin's about to fight Mariusz Watch. I hope, looking at the WBC rankings, Povetkin's rated #1 contender and Mariusz Watch is rated #12 contender. Okay, Deontay Wilder's the champ and he fought Duhaupas and Duhaupas was number 11. So both of these guys are fighting guys that are similar, you know, bottom dwellers of the top 15 of the WBC. You know, so Deontay Wilder took care of his. I hope his eye doesn't keep him out extended long periods of time. I hope it was just a normal swelling of the eye from just getting hit. I hope nothing's wrong. I hope there's not a bone broken because I don't want to see this Povetkin fight get pushed into next summer. Let's get this shit over with, man. You know? It's almost like this is like going to the doctor or something, or going like a kid going to the dentist or something. It's like, dude, let's get this over with. You know, but from what I seen yesterday, if Povetkin's able to push Deontay Wilder to push him backwards like that, Wilder may have some trouble, especially when his back hits the ropes. He may not be able to get You know, Povetkin may pin him against the ropes, man, but Deontay Wilder's a very strong dude. He's starting to come in 10 pounds heavier than what he usually does, which is a good thing because he can carry the weight. If you remember, he was coming in like at 218, 219 prior to the Stavern fight. Now he's coming in at 229, 228, which is good for him, man. You know, all the big heavyweights, Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, Vitali, I mean, all those guys weigh 245 and up. You know, I think Deontay Wilder can carry the weight. So 228 is good, you know, but Povetkin needs to take care of business. Mariusz Watch isn't just a complete walkover, you know, so, you know, but, and even, if, you know, if he loses to Mariusz Watch, then if Joshua takes care of business against Dillian White, I want to see Deontay Wilder in there with a big, now I want it to be a big fight, some Vegas type shit. No more of this Alabama, you know, Eric Molina, Johann Duhaupas. I want to see a Vegas type fight. Povetkin, Joshua, you know. Then I'm looking at the rankings. They have Romain Stavern number 4. They have Sar Glaskov, who's been getting some gift decisions, in my opinion. They have him number 3. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, but I would rather see Anthony Joshua or Povetkin get a title shot. You know, like I said, Stavern's number 4. They have Brian Jennings number 5. Let me look at the rankings here, you guys. They have, okay, so Povetkin's number 1, Joshua's number 2, Sar Glaskov's number 3, Romain Stavern's number 4, Brian Jennings number 5, Lucas Brown's number 6, Artur Spilka's number 7, Carlos Takam's number 8, Tony Thompson's number 9, Erkin Tepper's number 10. So out of that top 10, who do you want to see Deontay Wilder fight next? Obviously it's Povetkin, but if for some reason, let's just say for some reason, it's not Povetkin. Let's say they still hold out. Who do you want to see him fight? You know, for some reason, if there is a stay busy fight and he doesn't fight somebody that's in the top 15, because I think you at least have to fight somebody in the top 15. How about the dude that was on the undercard? How about Dominic Breazeale? How about Charles Martin, who fight they didn't telecast, but they have him, you know, higher ranked. BoxRec has him higher ranked than Dominic Breazeale. How about Charles Martin or Dominic Breazeale if you need a stay busy fight? I don't think either of those two guys will run away from a title shot. You know, Breazeale isn't a kid. He isn't 22 years old. You know, he's damn near 30. Or I forgot how old Breazeale is, but I think he's damn near 30 years old, man. So he's not a kid. Charles Martin isn't a young kid guy. You know, he's not a young kid either. You know, so both of these guys, I think, will jump at the opportunity to get a title shot if Deontay Wilder goes that route. You know, but Povetkin or Joshua, man, or at the least just Povetkin. You know, they may not want Joshua yet, but you got to get in there with Povetkin, especially if he beats Wack and he doesn't, he's injury free. They were saying that's going to happen next year. So I don't know if Wilder's going to sit the rest of this year out or not. But if he chooses a stay busy fight, how about Dominic Breazeale or Charles Martin? To some degree, the Martin fight may not be a necessary stay busy fight, but I do think Povetkin is on a much higher level or higher level than Breazeale, a much higher level than Breazeale, and I think he's on a higher level than Charles Martin. YTBC, I'm out.